This is our regular Board of Trustees meeting. It's now called to order at 4:30 p.m. We welcome members of the public. Instructions on making public comment are posted in item 1 on the agenda. We will ask each item if there is any public comment. We have Trustee DeLuna is here. We have Baker is hopefully going to be joining us online, and we have Trustee Dodd joining from his location, which was printed in the agenda in accordance with the Brown Act rules. As such, I will be taking roll call votes for this meeting. Catherine, do you want to do roll call?
Absolutely. Trustee Baker, I see you're here. We'll move on to Trustee Dodd.
I'm here. Sorry, it took me a second to figure out how to unmute.
Right. And we'll need your camera too, if possible. Trustee Kishinev is not present yet. We have Trustee Rios.
Here.
Trustee DeLuna. Student Trustee Gonzalez.
Present.
And who am I missing? Trustee Olson.
Here.
And Trustee Evers.
We got Trustee DeLuna.
Yep.
And then I did want to note that Trustee Baker is joining from an online at the CCLC conference in Burlingame. And again, that's all been in accordance with the Brown Act rules. So thank you, Catherine, for roll call. Can we now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Trustee Rios, do you want to lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you, Trustee Rios. 2.3 land acknowledgement. As we gather today, it is important to acknowledge that Napa Valley College and the surrounding Napa Valley sit on the unceded, traditional, ancestral, and contemporary homelands of the Miwok, Patwin, who are comprised of 3 federally recognized tribes: the Kasho-Dihi Band of Wintun Indians of the Calusa Indian Community, the Kletsu-Dihi Band of Wintun Indians, and the Yocha-Dihi Wintun Nation, and Wapo, including the Mishwa Wapo, also known as the Onostasis peoples. As part of the Napa Valley College's mission of transforming lives through excellent educational and professional opportunities that are student-centered, equity-focused, and community-oriented in accordance with the college's values of accountability, integrity, inclusion, respect, social justice, and sustainability, we make this acknowledgement. We also affirm that this acknowledgement is insufficient. It does not undo the harm that has been and continues to be perpetrated against Indigenous people, the land and water. May we hold steady in our commitment to be in solidarity and in action to seek equity and justice with the Miwok, Patwin, and Wapo peoples. And then I did want to note that Trustee Jason Kishinev is now here. Catherine, if we can note that. And I also wanted to recognize November as Native American Heritage Month. And next we will be adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Well, motion by Trustee DeLuna and a second by Trustee Rios. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you. Agenda is adopted. And a little change this month. We're going to be moving our constituent group reports to the front. So we're going to be starting with the Associated Students in Napa Valley College report. Priya?
Hi, everyone. I'm not Priya. My name is Omar Pena. I'm the advisor for ASMBC Student Government, and I wanted to introduce Evelyn Gill. She's our Vice President of Student Government. She'll be doing our report today, and we're going to do a better effort on trying to get ASMBC representative. We appreciate Cindy being here and sharing on our behalf, but we'd like to have someone else here available too. So, Evelyn, go ahead.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to keep you guys posted about ASMBC's fundraising ideas so far. we've created plushies that have the NVC logo on them, and we created different variants of them. One was Halloween themed, which we sold at the River Trail event. We also had to cancel the glade lighting event, which was planned for yesterday, November 20th, due to the weather complications. The Angel Tree event, which is soon, where we'll be accepting gifts until Monday, December 2nd, and the tree can be found in the lobby of the library. There's ornaments on there still. And a few of the board members are already committed to the DC trip, the national trip to DC for the March conference, and we'll be following the process for out-of-state travel for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is our classified Senate report. This is 3.3. Danielle Alexander, President. She in attendance. Report. 3.4, classified association report. Jasenia. I don't see Jasenia. 3.5, administrative confidential Senate report is Christine Tapia.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by sharing a leadership update from our Senate. Congratulations and a big thank you to Solange Kada, who has stepped into the treasurer role of the Administrative Confidential Senate Executive Board as of last month. And through Solange fashion, in this short time, she has already initiated efforts to ensure that we are responsibly managing our finances and to be able to support our goals for this year. So Solange joins me, Chris Farmer, and Jerry Dunlap on the executive board as president, vice president, and secretary, respectively. And in other matters, the AC Senate continues to engage in dialogue to address and enhance campus climate and establish goals related to develop a deeper understanding and practice of DEIA competencies, as well as creating a campus where well-being is valued. At our October and November meetings, we discussed and approved the creation of a DEIA self-assessment to be part of our performance evaluations, and committed to develop a series of learning opportunities on these topics next year. We also continue to discuss campus climate and well-being of our members. We are feeling the literal crunch of a compressed calendar, the burden of continuing to navigate the various institutional and operational challenges that are in our areas, that impact our areas, and the responsibility of ensuring continued efficiency and productivity where we can. This upcoming recess, however short, offers a little bit of a well-deserved break, and hopefully for all of us, time to reflect on how we should all commit to cultivating a campus that values well-being, respect, collaboration, and success to ensure the long-term growth and sustainability of the institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Next, 3.6, academic Senate report, Matthew Kronzer.
Hello, board members. On a personal note, I want to start by acknowledging that I appreciated the funding to attend 2 local conferences. One was the Equity Minded Leadership Churches Institute. The other was, of course, the statewide academic Senate plenary. I attended a lot of sessions focused on equity mindedness, and I look forward to implementing what I learned at those conferences here at NVC. At our most recent academic Senate business meetings, we took the following actions. We recommended about 10 policies for approval, one of those including a board policy that will be coming here. We endorsed next year's cycle for sabbatical applications. So after those are vetted by cabinet, you'll be seeing some of those hopefully coming here as well. We also endorsed the first draft of our spring 2025 Flex Day agenda. We held 2 discussion items, one focusing on moving towards adopting a representative Senate structure. We feel this is necessary because with the loss of college hour, we're finding it very difficult to find spaces for all of faculty to come together to engage in community and to build foster dialogue across the whole campus. So we feel that this is a necessary step for us to take. We also held a discussion on faculty roles in college decision-making. I have submitted a written report. I'm going to do my best to paraphrase it here for the considerations of time. As you all know, Title V protects the right of faculty to make recommendations in the areas of program development and institutional planning. Last year, we also ratified AP 2510, which refers to participation in local decision-making, in which NVC states that we have a shared commitment to essentially engaging in collaborative dialogue, developing a culture of mutual trust, and also using data to inform the decisions we make at the campus. I feel that these commitments have only been selectively upheld in the last year and a half as I have served in this role as academic Senate president. I've begun to see what I have as a concerning pattern, and I want to document 3 specific areas today. The first was the decision to remove college hour. And if you're not familiar with that, that was a time block on our scheduling patterns from Tuesdays and Thursdays, in which full-time faculty were not delivering any kind of instruction. That gave them space to attend campus events, to engage with students, to host student clubs, also to engage in meetings and really engage in this larger process of institutional planning. I was informed of the interest of the district leadership to remove college hour. That's something we had offered for quite some time. I communicated a wish for data gathering and greater areas of collaboration. I didn't feel comfortable addressing that as a one representative of the Senate, and it wasn't a discussion that we ever had in the Academic Senate. Unfortunately, those requests were denied. The decision was pushed through, and so we had to scramble to redo our program scheduling for that year. We also had to do a lot of committee reassignments because it fundamentally changed the ways in which we were meeting and gathering together. It's made it increasingly difficult for students and faculty to find spaces to gather together, particularly as groups become larger, because we don't have this set built time that we are reserving to gather in those meetings. In that same period, the district identified specific modality requirements for instruction. This is obviously an area that's directly tied to the work that faculty do. Program coordinators are informed that about 50% of our classes need to be held in person, 35% need to be expected to be asynchronous, and other 15% need to be hybrids. The district may perceive that these are flexible requirements and a general guiding principle, but unfortunately, program coordinators are making decisions to map to that schedule. This is not a formal recommendation of the Academic Senate. When I try to think about what data has informed these specific metrics, it's not really clear to me where those were informed or institutionalized or identified. There's never been really any dialogue on this. I feel like this is an area where faculty have a voice and they should have a protected right to make a recommendation, but they have not been engaged in that kind of discussion. As a result, I feel that there may be situations where students are pushed into a modality that's been mapped to those expected requirements that may have a demonstrated likelihood of lowering their success in that particular modality. Finally, most recently, the district has made the decision to remove full-time faculty from the writing and math success centers. This decision was made well into the spring planning of our schedule, shortly before the schedule was going live. This was highly disruptive. It resulted in the reassignment of many courses that were originally going to be offered to part-time faculty. It also has reduced the number of hours that part-time faculty are expected to work in the spring semester. So we have had some documented cases of part-time faculty expressing a concern for their livelihoods because it is being cut as a result of this decision. This was communicated via the deans to the respective areas, and when asking what kind of dialogue did faculty participate in for this decision, there was no dialogue. It was a communication that was pushed through. In requests for data on why this decision was being made, we received conflicting reports. We were told that it was potentially too expensive for the district to continue to offer this. We were also later told that perhaps it was a utilization concern, that maybe we didn't justify the numbers of offerings that we were having in these success centers. We have never received a formal report on the cost analysis. The initial one we were given, it was correctly identified that those metrics were inaccurate or based on the wrong salary figures. So we still have not received a definitive cost analysis that the district feels is accurate. We have also not received the formal assessment of our utilization. It's been, in my perception, largely based on projections and perceptions, less so than on informed data and dialogue. After weeks of requesting for that, we still have not received those reports. The decision is still moving through, has been taken off the schedule. And so I want to reaffirm that I truly respect our district leaderships. I work very closely with district leadership to try to reach the best decisions we can to better support our students. I'm deeply concerned by the choice, particularly for the math and writing success centers. I can speak to what I've seen from the institution. Those are identified goals for areas of improvement that was expressed at our Flex Day on this fall. Math and English have some of the lowest success rates and persistence and completion, but they're also very directly tied to higher rates of transfer, degree completion, or certificate achievement. It's also an area of interest from the Chancellor's office in terms of the funding that's been supplied for AB 1705 for math and English. And so I wonder, why is the district feeling a need to cut the funding and support for these two particular disciplines in the student service area, given our fiscal stability, given our projections of what seems to be sound decision-making? Based on my own estimates, and I admit that I don't have access to those kind of levels of reports, it seems to me that the district is maybe going to save about $60,000 for spring 2025 based on the cuts that they've made. That is less than 0.1% of our overall budget for the district. So I wonder if that cost savings is really worth the huge disruptions we're experiencing, and also the demoralization of our faculty feeling that they weren't included in this dialogue and that they were not invited to contribute to that decision-making and planning. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Matthew. Next is 3.7 Faculty Association Report, John Kinchlow.
Hi, everybody. First, I want to apologize for my casual demeanor. We had a union meeting today, and the union team tends to like dress up in our union uniform or our unioniform, if you will. So, okay, here we are. So I appreciate the opportunity to provide a report today, and thank you to the Board of Trustees for your service, and to the institution and our students. I want to focus on 2 points today. Both of which relate to the current status of our bargaining process, and in turn, the status of the overall relationship with the district and its administration. As a reminder, the faculty at Napa Valley College are currently working on an expired contract and in active negotiation with the district to develop a new contract. We are steadfast in the effort to develop a contract that is fair and demonstrates the district's commitment to showing appreciation to the hard work and dedication of its faculty, but is also realistic and transparent in its parameters. That said, the first point I want to make is about fairness. 7 years ago, the district agreed with the faculty that it would work with us through the process of regular negotiation cycles to build our salary foundation toward a fair and equitable wage. To this end, a goal was set, represented in Article 26 in the current collective bargaining agreement, that both parties would make every effort to build faculty salary to a level that was commensurate with the level of the cost of living in the Napa area. The faculty agreed that this was a great goal, a realistic goal, and the district agreed to the same things. This has been the practice for the past 2 negotiation cycles, and we appreciate the district's work to help us get to a wage that is fair to for the community of which our fair institution is a part. What we don't appreciate is that now it seems the district has forgotten that history and chosen instead to change course away from that goal. Instead, the district would like to move the goalpost to gaslight its faculty into believing that this goal is far more achievable than we have agreed over the past 7 years. This is not fair. The fair thing to do would be to present realistic, transparent offers that help us work toward the goal we originally established. I ask that the Board of Trustees consider this and help us reestablish that intent in the current bargaining process. The second point is about appreciation. The faculty of Napa Valley College fundamentally appreciate that the district has to make hard decisions about the future of our institution and the students that rely on it for their academic and professional success. We work every day to support the district in the efforts necessary to make the best possible environment for our students. However, in return, the faculty expect the appreciation that is demonstrated by the district being transparent and honest about decisions it has to make. In general, we have heard commitments from administrators that they will be transparent in their decision making and use data to drive the decisions that most impact student experience and success. However, it has become apparent in recent examples that this transparency and data-driven decision making did not happen. We ask that the Board of Trustees appreciate Napa Valley College faculty and work together with us to guide big decisions by asking for feedback and updating stakeholders along the way to show that they understand the impact that their decision-making has on our ability to serve students successfully. Thank you again for this opportunity. And the faculty's position is and always will be that we are unified in our rights as Napa Valley College faculty, ready for the challenges of the future, thankful to the lessons of the past, and passionately dedicated to the success of our students and the institution as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. A lot there, but I do want to note that we do appreciate all of you guys, so. All right, we're gonna move to public, or I'm actually, yeah, public comment on closed session items. And at this time, the board will develop up to 15 minutes to hear comments regarding closed session agenda items. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Here. I would just remember that. So we do have some speaker cards, so I'm gonna move you guys forward and I will go in order. So the first speaker card that I have is John. You guys, we'll move this up front, you guys. They want to wait? Okay. Scratch that. All right, so. That said, we're gonna adjourn the full back. Sorry, my mic was off. We'll be back at 5:30, but I'm gonna adjourn for close second. Okay, everybody, I know we've got a lot that wanna come up and speak, so I'm gonna. Announcement of items from closed session. The Board of Trustees approved the following appointment to a full-time temporary at-will classified administrative assignment. Samantha Maddox as Acting Director, Facilities Services from November 19th, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, or until the position is filled on a regular basis, whichever occurs first. Acting Director salary will be based on Administrative Confidential Salary Schedule Range 21. Step A, $9,660 a month, and the salary will be prorated for any partial month of service. So congratulations, Samantha, and look forward to having you in that position. Next, we're going to move to public comment. This is general public comment. Public comment opportunity is governed by the California Brown Act. By definition, this is an opportunity to hear concerns, perspectives, and differing vantage points. The board is not able under the Brown Act to engage in any level of conversation or discussion, but we look forward to this opportunity to gather community input. At this time, the board will devote up to 15 minutes to review comment to the Board of Trustees regarding any subject not appearing as an agenda item for this meeting, but over which the board has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will occur at this time on such items. Each comment shall last no longer than 3 minutes. Catherine, I have these speaker cards. Do we have any other?
No, we do not.
Okay, so I have been asked to do these in order. So John, is John in here? Oh, there you are. You moved.
Coming over here in a different context. Okay,
I'm with you.
are we ready? I've never done this before. Okay.
Go ahead. Floor is yours.
All right. The English department of Napa Valley College is here to express our unity and resolution in support of maintaining the Writing Success Center in the current negotiated model. By the way, I'm John Kinchel. I teach English at the college. I also coordinate our Writing Success Center on campus. This model incorporates multiple tiers of instruction, including student peer tutors, full-time instructional support specialists, and part-time and full-time faculty, and is aimed at offering consistent wraparound instruction to students. It also fosters collaboration between the Writing Success Center and the English department, as well as outreach to local high schools and the community. Each type of instruction provides a vital service, which is dependent on and strengthened by the others. Vice President of Academic Affairs, Mora, and President Powell are now seeking to dismantle this model, citing cost and lack of justification. We, the members of the English department, wholeheartedly disagree with their premise and intention. The current model is successful. According to our 2024 program review data, success rates of students who visited the Writing Success Center were 22% more successful in their English classes than those who didn't. Use of the Writing Success Center has also increased, made possible by the Writing Success Center's increased staffing and extended hours since the beginning of this semester. More than 300 students have visited the Writing Success Center, more than the total number of students in the 2019 to 2020 academic year, and more than half of the total headcount in 2018-19, and each academic year from 2020 to 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next up is Anna Garcia.
Hello, my name is Anna Garcia. I'm also an English faculty member. In the aftermath of AB 705 and AB 1705, the English department lost its effective means of offering remediation and meeting students where they are. We are no longer able to offer English 90, a developmental course one level below transfer, which most graduating high school students placed into and which prepared them excellently for the rigors of English 120 and other college courses. The only supports the state and chancellor's office allow us to offer students must be concurrent and are limited to co-requisite or enhanced courses and tutoring. With these restrictions in mind, in academic year 2018 to 2019, the English department made several requests to the district as part of our plan to support students in the wake of the massive reduction and ultimate elimination of developmental courses. The one request that the district granted us via negotiations was full-time faculty integration into the Writing Success Center as 1 to 2 units of load per semester. In conjunction with this agreement, we added the non-credit course English non-credit 810 supervised writing, giving faculty a vehicle through which to work in the Writing Success Center and to expand tutoring services for students. This intended support was identified in the AB 705, AB 1705 implementation plans NVC submitted to the state for funding. Since then, the English department has relied on the Writing Success Center as our primary hub of support for students who struggle with college level reading and writing.
Thank you, Anna. Next up, I have Aaron DeFranco.
Hello, I'm Aaron DeFranco, been faculty of English for 19 years on the campus, and I'm here too to talk about the inclusion of faculty in our success centers. Inclusion of both full-time and part-time faculty in the Writing Success Centers is not innovative. In fact, most, if not all, surrounding community colleges, Santa Rosa Junior College, College of Marin, Chabot College, Las Positas College, Contra Costa Community College District, American River College, Cosumnes River College include faculty in their writing centers. The WSC model is the state standard. The statewide argument for adopting AB 1705 relies implicitly on campuses having a model like this, robust writing center support built around full integration of writing faculty. The Academic Senate for California Community Colleges, in their 2021 position paper, The Role of Faculty in Tutoring and Learning Centers in the Community College, responding to Resolution 16.01 of 2019, emphasized and reiterate the centrality of the faculty in tutoring and learning centers where peer-to-peer, discipline-specific collaborative learning is the primary objective. They further delineate, quote, faculty pedagogical roles in the tutoring and learning center are based on the institutional recognition that learning outside the classroom through student-centered peer interaction is closely related to teaching in the classroom. Therefore, tutoring and learning centers are instructional spaces where a faculty member provides pedagogical strategies, ongoing programmatic assessment, overall supervision and coordination, and tutor training. Faculty in the tutoring and learning center are essential in the same way that teaching faculty are to the classroom and librarians are to the library. Learning assistance is an instructional activity. Faculty are therefore optimal. Tutoring and learning center faculty positions have grown exponentially in the last 10 years, as has the influence of academic support for the campus community. Faculty in these spaces are essential to the learning that occurs inside and outside the classroom. These centers also function as an intentional spaces of collaboration between departments and programs and among tutoring and learning center faculty and teaching faculty with the goal of extending the classroom and improving student learning. End quote. The Writing Success Center model that the English department implemented represents years of research, data collection, and expertise to ensure the success of the most vulnerable students at Napa Valley College. The skill sets the students learn in the Writing Success Center help them with their studies across the curriculum. Also among these skill sets is the ability to form healthy relationships with their professors, diminishing the fear that many first-generation students have of the academic culture. The students often carry trust, comfort, and confidence with them into their courses, better able to advocate for themselves and to see instructors as guides or partners in their learning rather than gatekeepers. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Next up is Christine Pruitt.
Hi, I'm Christine Pruitt, English faculty, and one of the faculty teaching a CCAP class at New Tech High School. The loss of faculty in the Writing Success Center means more than a reduction in staff hours, writing workshops, embedded tutors in classrooms, and outreach. It cuts away at our community on campus and our growing community off campus. Post-COVID, we have more students enrolled in online coursework. We have increasing numbers of dual enrollment and CCAP students. All will now be competing for limited Writing Success Center access and support. The statewide decrease in student success rates clearly indicates the failure of a one-size-fits-all approach. Our numbers, which were and still are above the state average, nevertheless have been similarly negatively impacted. Now more than ever, we are relying on the Writing Success Center as the primary resource to provide support for the increasing number of academically underprepared students who are entering English 120. Faculty work as subject matter experts in the Writing Success Center. They create curriculum, deliver workshops, and tutor students. Moving forward, faculty are looking to partner with colleagues in other disciplines whose students need more writing support. A key takeaway from the WSC Flex Day session was that other faculty want more integration and support from the Writing Center. Full-time faculty are key to making this happen. We are beginning to work with our colleagues to develop materials and workshops tailored to meet the needs of their specific courses. Faculty in the Writing Center also work to support NVC's dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment, and CCAP agreements, offering tutoring and workshops on high school campuses. Writing curriculum, giving workshops, and outreach are all tasks that fall outside of the ISS job description. Last spring, faculty began a pilot project at American Canyon High School. We created an 8-workshop series through English Non-Credit 810 to visit a high school classroom and guide students in solid writing practices, but also to help students from marginalized backgrounds see potential in themselves to be college students at NVC or elsewhere. We had hoped to expand that series to visit all NVUSD high schools this year, and over 150 students at New Tech received an orientation to Writing Success Center services this fall, raising their awareness of writing processes and support services. Also this fall, we piloted embedded tutors in our English 120 and 95 standalone, our English 120, 95 and standalone English 120 sections with an eye to continuing and expanding the program. In addition, we were researching expanding peer support by implementing supplemental instruction for writing courses, also through the Writing Success Center. Perhaps our most ambitious plans were to expand the non-credit curriculum in the Writing Center to offer a bridge program to help incoming and struggling students acclimate to college-level reading and writing. All of these plans and efforts are now suspended moving forward without the necessary full-time faculty in the Writing Success Center to implement them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Lisa Yanover.
Hi, I'm Lisa Yanover, and I've been teaching English here for over 20 years. Thank you for hearing us. This one decision by the VP of Academic Affairs and President undermines faculty and hurts students. From a distance, the Writing Success Center may seem like a place that simply supports students with their writing. It does, in fact, so much more than that. It is a place where students, staff, and faculty create community together. We know a writing center can play a critical role in helping students feel seen and emotionally supported. We not only champion good writing, we encourage students to persevere in the face of school and life challenges.
and to believe in the possibilities of their success. Furthermore, removal of the faculty from the Writing Success Center dismantles an effective practice whose success is documented in the current education literature, but worse, it demonstrates the president's and BPAA's inattention to the equity issues most affecting our most vulnerable students and undermines the goals stated in the current NVC equity plan. The VPAA's and president's claims of the cost of the Writing Success Center are not supportable, and their rationale devalues and willfully misunderstands faculty's role and where, when, and how instruction and learning take place. The impacts of AB 705 and AB 1705 are going to be long-lasting. We cannot afford to diminish our support of students, and yet diminishment is exactly what the president's and VPAA's unilateral decision to remove full-time faculty from the USC accomplished. This move threatens not only to damage student success, but also NVC's reputation. What drew a lot of faculty to NVC back in the early to mid 2000s was its size and reputation for excellence. NVC was recognized as being among the state leaders in student support services and teaching and counseling innovation. This helped us thrive in the midst of much larger neighboring community college districts. Students sought us out because they understood that our size was their advantage. Faculty, staff, and administration worked together to ensure that student support and resources were among the best in the state. And this approach protected our enrollments during the leanest year. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Next up is Andrea Buick. Was close. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrea Buick. I teach English here. I've been teaching full-time at Napa Valley College for 25 years. I'm in my 25th year. The decision to pull full-time faculty from the Writing Success Center in the middle of the academic year has profound implications that go far beyond budget concerns. Back in 2011, many faculty, deans, and VPs worked together to build and implement the Math and Writing Success Centers. Many of these faculty participants were asked to join in this effort by deans and VPs of the time, and over the next decade, they conducted site visits and interviewed faculty, staff, and administrators at several colleges who had already implemented success centers. Every single successful model integrated full-time faculty in their centers. Over and over again, the necessity of a robust full-time faculty presence was emphasized as one of the most important elements of successful, fully integrated success centers. This was similarly emphasized by the ASCCC and their 2021 position paper. Since that time, the stressors of the pandemic and the advent of AB 705 and AB 1705 have only heightened the central role that success centers play in supporting student success. As this dedicated group built and implemented this model, a process that took over a decade, it was administration, deans, vice presidents, and even college presidents who reached out to faculty for help in creating a model that integrates full-time faculty. This is one of the most upsetting aspects of this sudden and shocking decision to unilaterally remove full-time faculty. The fact that one person would choose to undo more than a decade's worth of close collaboration on a necessary and successful model, with so little input about how the model was built and why it relies so profoundly on the integration of full-time faculty. Even more troubling are the implications going forward for our college. At a time when we are struggling to increase enrollment and fill housing vacancies, our new message to prospective students seems to be that we will now offer them less support in their core courses than they will receive at any of the surrounding community colleges. These colleges continue to offer full-time faculty support in their success centers. The ongoing collaboration between the English department and Writing Success Center is at the heart of our ability and efforts to respond to students, faculties, and the college's needs. But that ability is what is currently being threatened by this short-sighted decision. Napa Valley College's students, faculty, and community deserve better. This is signed by the Napa Valley College English faculty, myself, Erin DeFranco, Anna Garcia, Kathy Gillis, Christy Iwamoto, John Kinchlow, Matt Kronzer, Brian Larson, Karen Larson, Christine Pruitt, Eileen Tejada, and Lisa Yanover. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Next, I don't know if you guys have a specific order, but I have Gary and Shauna. Just one. Hi, Shauna.
I'm Shauna Bynum, and I teach math here at Napa Valley College. I started it full-time in 2003. And I would just like to highlight a couple of things that are different for our students than when any of you probably took math at the college level. So the two things that I want to make sure you know is that our students don't take a placement test. They come to campus and they go straight into their college level math class. It doesn't matter what they know when they get here. We welcome them to start right here in their transfer level class. The second thing, and this is brand new to us, and we're still figuring it out, is that if you are a science, technology, math, engineering major, it doesn't matter what math you've taken before or if you've taken any, you start in Calculus 1. I want to say that again. You don't take pre-calculus, you don't take trigonometry, you don't take what you guys might have known of as Algebra 2, you start in Calc 1. So I just want to put you in the frame of mind of thinking how different of an experience this is for these students. And then the next thing I would like to do is to invite any of you who are interested to come to the Math Success Center, check us out, see what we do firsthand, meet our students. And I'll be back next month with more information about the Math Success Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Shauna. Gary Domingo, you are up.
Hi, I'm Gary Domingo. Don't let this gray beard fool you. I am a student. My student ID is 0134287. I do have some time at University of San Francisco. One lesson I learned there that was very important to me, three things when I speak publicly. Socrates was a Greek. He talked a lot and they killed him. So I would like to keep my comments brief. I have a degree from the University of San Francisco and some soft stuff, and I have returned and I'm in the STEM side of things, and I am in one of the calculus classes, Calculus 1. I've gotten a lot of instruction from Shauna, Sherry Lowe's, and many others. My wife is enrolled with me, and we spent a lot of time in the Math Center. And I've caught wind that there's going to be some changes and some, excuse me, some disruption in the Math Center. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know what's being done is not arbitrary. And I would just encourage you to make sure that what is being done is appropriate and proper. And you do solicit input from the people that use these services, whether it's the Math Center or the Writing Lab. It's very important, especially for people like me. I'm in there, I'll be 70 in December, and there's kids in there that are 19 years old that are sitting there sweating it out just like the rest of us. So we spent, when a lot of my friends were up at Lake Berryessa on their jet skis and doing the Macarena, my wife and I were sitting in that math lab working hard to get our grades. So again, I know what's being proposed, and I don't know what it is because I just don't have access to that kind of information. But I'm encouraging you to make sure that with the Success Center that you're doing the right thing for everyone, and especially people like me in the bottom of the food chain and these young kids that I'm sitting next to that are struggling through this like I am. And anyway, I'd like to thank you for listening to me, and have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. I think you did good at public speaking, though. Anyone else out there want to speak? Anyone? Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Okay. Nobody else out there. No more public comment. Thank you, everybody. We are going to move to our consent calendar. This is 8.1. Does any trustees have any questions about any of the items on the consent calendar?
No questions. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Please do.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Thank you, trustee DeLuna. Thank you, trustee Olson, for seconding. I'm gonna do a roll call vote on this just because we have trustee Baker and trustee Dodd out. Trustee Dodd. Aye. Okay, trustee Baker.
Aye.
Thank you, trustee Rios.
Aye.
Trustee Olson.
Here.
Trustee Kishnev. Aye. And trustee DeLuna.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Thank you. I have to do roll call vote and our student trustee. Trustee Cindy,
She has an advisory.
Aye.
Just,
we're gonna take it.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, consent calendar passes unanimous. Thank you. Chief Amber Wade. This is it's an information item. This is our annual Clery report. It's the notification of student right to know. So take it away, Chief Wade.
Thank y'all for having me. Apparently, I cleared the room. No. So thanks again. I'm here to just provide some general safety updates to the board along with our annual Clery report. Hopefully you all will receive that notification back at the end of September. So we send it out via our NVC Safe Alerts to a whole lot of people. I know there was over 5,000 recipients to that when we put it all together. And then we also have the Clery report up on our website. It covers the prior 3 years of information. So I wanted to start with some just general information about our department, a recap of kind of our last 4 years. You'll see our service calls and our cases. We did have a less number of calls for service the 23 to 24 year. I believe that's a little bit with the lack of people on our campus. We're still recovering from COVID and we did have less officers out there patrolling. The more patrol we do, the more calls for service we have. So that's probably why you see that decrease there. We did have an increase in our cases that we investigated, and I'll cover that. It relates directly with some of our information on our Clery report. So we had a big increase in our assist at the service window. So that's a good thing. People starting to get back on campus. And then that dollar amount you see that we provide assistance in fingerprinting, and the motorist assist is when we do vehicle lockouts and also battery jumps for people parked on campus. This is my busy slide here. You'll see it's really our bread and butter with the College Police Department is our crime prevention and community connection. You'll see the kind of big squares there. That's one of the handouts we created for our River Trail Village residents to hand out to them when they were just entering their rooms at the kind of the orientation and passing it out, along with our crime prevention classes. You'll see the little flyer up there. This year, we were able to do our crime prevention classes both on campus and at River Trail Village. So that was a lot of fun to connect with our students. And we've even had some of the RAs up there bring students to us and say, hey, this student is feeling, scared to these reasons. Can you do the pepper spray class for him? Can you provide him some self-defense? And so those have been some really good connections that we've been able to provide with our River Trail Village residents. Some pictures you'll see up there. I'm really proud of our staff taking the leadership role within the Napa community of law enforcement. Officer Alba Madrigal actually organized and ran the entire Special Olympics torch run for Napa County law enforcement. So that was the first time she took that on this year. And then we had her run. Sergeant Point Maddox drove the support van. So he drove entire Napa County at 5 miles an hour. So that was thrilling for him, I'm sure. But he always does that every year for the cause. And then we've had a lot of runners participate as well. So down below that, you'll see dispatcher Jasmine De La Cruz helped organize the 2nd annual Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. So that was another great event that we provided, I believe, the most support from our department than any other Napa County law enforcement. So as Dr. Powell always participates, so we always appreciate that support with that. And then last but not least, you'll see a couple pictures down at the right. We participated in Shop with a Cop. So that's a great connection with our community to be able to connect with the youth in Napa County and get early to Target and help them with some of their holiday shopping. And then National Night Out is another event that we participate in the community. And you'll see Dispatcher De La Cruz ran our table for that. And that's the first time we've hosted that here at Napa Valley College. It was a really good location. I think it was the best turnout that they've ever received for this event. And so we'll plan to do it in the future. Just a great way to get our public on our campus and connect. Last but not least, I really wanted to highlight some of the things we've been doing within our college community to connect with our population. And that would be our resources we have online, specifically our ability to allow our public to give us their input. So we did an annual survey this year, and it's updated, and this is thanks to Robin Mornall and her department that kind of helped us create this and send this out. And then really new is the contact survey. So we have a QR code up on our website, and it's on the back of all of our business cards. So if anyone wants to give a survey about how their experience was with our officers or with the service they received from our department, it's really easy to do, and it can be completely anonymous. So just a way for our, like I said, our public to connect with us. Along with that, on our website, we have reporting information so people can report any sort of crimes that happen, suspicious activity on our campus, and any complaints. So it's the same form. That's available at 3 different spots on our website, so it's very evident where they can report that. And then we did have the college created a reporting website. So on our Napa Valley College website, there's a spot to report all of the different things we have on campus. That's Title IX, there's some crime prevention, there's BERT, so all different kinds. It's the first time we've had that ability for our students to go there and be like, I need to report this, but I don't really know what. That will help guide them. So some good things there. You probably are mostly aware of a lot of our safety resources on campus, our NVC Safe app, our emergency messaging, obviously the Clery report, which I'll cover in just a little bit. We have emergency procedures, our duress buttons that we have on our staff computers. But I wanted to draw attention to all of the teams that we work with on campus. So that list off to the left-hand side is just a list of some of the task forces and teams that I participate in. And these are all of our colleagues that are contributing to safety on campus. So this really is a team approach at Napa Valley College, and we're very lucky to have our campus community participate in all of these things. And it's nice being a small campus because it's a lot of the same faces. So if we have something that might be a biased incident, but then it goes, oh no, this is probably Title IX, we can pick up the phone call and call it, or pick up the phone, call each other and make those connections and make sure our students on campus are really getting the support and resources that they need from us. Like I said, our Clery report is available on the website. So if you look at the meat of our Clery report, is really information that is about crime reporting and prevention, but everyone always wants to see the crime statistics, right? This is where the rubber meets the road, and we provide all of the crime statistics that happen on campus, within the community around the campus, and then also up at, well, we've got one separate for Napa Valley, Upper Valley campus, and then we have 2 classrooms at American Canyon High School. So if you look on that list, the on-campus is pretty explanatory. That's things that happen here at Napa Valley College. The public property would be Kennedy Park, so our surrounding area. And then on non-campus centers would be American Canyon High School, so our 2 classrooms there. You'll see our numbers are pretty much the same as prior years, and there's nothing that draws your eye except for there's a very large increase in our burglaries. So we had an issue at our basic needs center that we were dealing with, and we ended up getting a suspect in those multiple incidents, and we believe they might have actually been working with a student on campus. These were burglaries that were happening in the middle of the night when we weren't present, and they weren't on a consistent basis. The good thing was it wasn't a big loss that we had. It was mostly food that they were taking, and there was a little bit of damage that we experienced with the doors. Really, I think the thing that we need to focus on here was it created a bit of a feeling of an unsafe environment for our staff that we had working there. So we needed to address the issue, and I don't want to thank IT and facilities, specifically Daniel and Dwayne, that worked really hard to assist me in creating a safe environment down there. We switched the door locks quite often in the way we thought they might be getting in. We did provide, Daniel came in and put cameras up right away. And so we provided some cameras into that space. And then we also got an alarm down there. So since it's been, since this year, we have not had any burglaries over the evening hours. So that's been a success there. But that's why you'll see that very large number, and that also increased our cases that you've seen there. So other than that, our clear report is pretty basic. We provided quite a few updates this year to make sure we're meeting all of the requirements. So this is a federal requirement to make sure that was very clear. And we did update a couple of things that will be coming up in the future. So for 2024 data, because we have on-campus housing, there's additional necessities. So we will have a fire report specifically for River Trail Village. And the other thing that's required is missing persons. I thought that was really important to have our procedures and protocols in place and visible in our clery report for our River Trail Village residents. So I went ahead and updated that and added that to this past year of the clery report. So you will see that. Here's some general updates with the college police department. I just talked about our clery updates that we've been doing and the plans for clery for 2024. The biggest adjustment, I think, that a lot of our staff on campus has been River Trail Village, and it's a work in progress. I think we've been great as a team. Right now, we're working really close with Dr. Guerrero and his team to make sure we're providing the support needed for our residents. And a lot of that is our patrol operations, our training that we're doing, the contract with the sheriff's department to provide that patrol off hours, and then also that close relationship that we have for any investigative needs that we would need to investigate the higher level of crimes that happen on campus or at River Trail Village. And then there's been a lot of work on the facility sides, the lighting. Grounds has been doing a fantastic job at trimming back the trees and down the bushes, so to provide that clear line of sight, and the lighting is a huge upgrade as well. And then I think you probably are well aware that we've been really working on hiring. So we've been trying to increase the numbers in our department. A big thank you to HR, Charo and her team with working on this. It's a difficult time to hire police officers, and we have to be really picky with the people that belong here on our campus. They need to fit the needs of our students and the needs of this department and college. So we are picky, and that's a good thing. And we did recently update our field training program as well. So that just got approved by post. To give you an idea, it's over 500 pages of sign-offs that our field training officers have to do for officers when they're out in the field to make sure they know what to do in certain situations. So we've been working on that for a couple of years now, and that's been approved. And then we're continuing to work on the training for our campus service officers. I will say the new staff that we have and that we have coming in right now, I'm very excited for. They're good people. They're going to be a great fit on our campus. And it's always fun to get the new officers coming in that are excited and question old things. And you're like, okay, yeah, we do need to look at that. We do need to work on that. So we're very excited with the staff we have in. And thank you all for helping us do that. Are there any questions? Again, all of this information is up on our website. You'll see we have a spot on there to show all of our annual reports that we've had on the past 4 years, all of our clery reports. And please, if anything comes up that's safety related, reach out to me. I'm always open for that. And the more we can connect with our community, the better. Thank you all very much.
Nice work, Chief. Thank you. Any questions, you guys?
Actually, sorry. The fees that you charge, and I don't know what our bandwidth is in the office, but if you do live scan here, I think a lot of nonprofits and organizations would love to send their staff here instead of like the sheriff's department or the police department that aren't always available. So anyway, if that's something, a service that we offer, I would love to be able to get the information out.
Yeah, Definitely reach me. Yeah, so we do provide it for our staff on campus, and then we work with HR to balance out those fees to make sure we're not losing fees, but we don't charge a loan, of course.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we think that's it.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you. Okay, next is an action item 13.1, California Community College Chancellor's Office Annual Financial 2023-2024 Budget Report. Mr. Reeves.
Thank you, President Iverson. This is a 42-page report. Trustee Rios has admonished me that I can't go through every single page. So I'd like to summarize some of this information. I would offer that this is the comprehensive view of the institution's financials, includes discussion and review of all funds, all trust funds, all state and federal funds as well. I'd like to highlight a few areas here. First of all, there is good news to report. The college did finish with a positive contribution to its reserves of nearly $1.3 million. Our reserve balance as a percentage has achieved the Chancellor's Office threshold of 16.7%. We're actually 16.88%. There's one piece of news that I'll share with you on page 4. Have you moved beyond page 4 yet, Catherine? Yes, thank you. In the middle of the page, I have it highlighted in mine. It says percentage of CEE instructional salary cost total CEE. This is the 50% law threshold, and state law, as we've discussed in the past, requires that institutions commit 50% of their unrestricted general fund to in-class instructional costs. Last year, we made, again, some incremental progress. Last year, we were at 45.28%. This year, we dropped back about 71 basis points to 44.57%. So while we were making good progress, we did drop back a bit. This we're looking at very closely, and in fact, on the consent agenda, you adopted a contract that allows us to seek consultation from an outside expert to help us with the 50% law. So we've already we will be engaging Cambridge West, some very knowledgeable CBOs there who have good experience in this area to look at that particular area and help us address that particular issue. If I can, just a few other items, if I can take you to page 25. Again, I won't go through every page. Page 25 indicates our total revenues and other financing sources this year, about $64 million, $63.9 million in total resources at the institution. And then on to page 26, where we see total expenditures of about $62.7 million. Recall that's both Fund 11 and Fund 12. So we're spending good funds in good ways. We still have some challenges in a particular area relative to the 50% law, but I'll share with you that I'm putting together a financial index for your review as we look at the audit in the future to give you a sense of where we are on the key financial indices for the institution. This report is good news for the institution. We still have a bit of work to do in terms of the 50% law, but I would conclude my report by saying I would answer any questions that you'd like to pose, certainly after you reviewed 42 pages. I would also say that this is a direct corollary to the institution's financial statements. So much of the information you see here will be reflected in the annual audit of financial statements, which we will have before the board at their December meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Jim Reeves. This is an action item. Any have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Trustee DeLuna and a second by Trustee Rios. I'm gonna roll call vote you, Trustee Baker and Trustee Dodd.
Trustee Dodd, aye.
Trustee Baker.
Baker, aye.
Okay, thank you. Those present, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does that work for you, Catherine, on the roll call vote? No opposed, unanimous. Thank you, guys. Okay. Next is 13.2, California Community College Chancellor's Office quarterly financial status. Mr. Reeves.
Thank you, President Iverson. This is the quarterly report. I'll share with you, there's great redundancy in our processes at the college now because you actually see this information every month. Most institutions, most districts report on their financials quarterly. And so this is why the Q report is presented to the board. So this will look very familiar in terms of what you've seen month to month. It essentially on the right column projects our budget exactly as you've seen and approved and provides you some fund balances in the next column, $8 million. Scrolling down, Catherine. Our unrestricted general fund revenue and expenditures, again, it's reflective of what we see on that monthly report. And you're about to see again, frankly. Our expenditures, unrestricted general fund expenditures, as well as our total unrestricted expenditures. Fund balances, and these are again reflective of that report. I'd scroll down here. It says, has the district settled any employee contracts during this quarter? The answer is no, we haven't settled any, but the implication is that we don't have any. But the truth is that we are, as you well know, negotiating 2 collective bargaining agreements. Did the district have any significant events for the quarter, including insurance, long-term debt settlement, audit findings, et cetera? And the answer is no, which remains good news. Does the district have significant fiscal problems that must be addressed? Our answer is no. And next year, we don't anticipate any, certainly. So that's the Q report. You see these 3-4 times a year, and it simply and is reflective of our activity through the quarter.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Action item, do I have a motion? A motion by trustee Olson.
I'll second, but what is the action? Are we voting to approve the report?
Yes.
Did I think? Okay.
And I have a second by trustee Kishner. I'm gonna roll call you guys again, remote. Trustee
Dodd, aye.
Trustee Baker.
Aye. Aye.
Here.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is unanimous. Catherine. And we're gonna move to 13.3 information item. As Mr. Reeves already noted, this is our unrestricted general fund 11 operating fund revenues and expenditures budget update as of October 31st.
Thank you, President Iverson, again. This is the monthly report that I think most of you are fairly familiar with. We're at 4/12. This report is 4/12 of the year, or 25% through the year. So through October 31st, 24. So our revenues remain slim. I was on a call with the treasurer's office on another matter this week, and they encouraged me that folks are paying their property taxes, and we can expect that first tranche of funds to come through in December. So fingers crossed there. Certainly this time of year, we're lean, as we all know, because of the way we receive our property taxes, but we believe we're going to catch up fairly quickly here. Our expenses for salaries are running at about 30%. You see in the upper fraction, we're at 33%. So we're still doing okay. We are doing okay there, with the caveat, the footnote here is that we have earmarked $750,000 for salary increases here that we have not touched yet. So that remains the earmark. But even if that were in play, as we projected, we'd still be in decent shape there, good shape there. Total employee benefits at 30%, again, trending below the 33%. Again, we're in good shape there. Total books and supplies, you'll notice the negative variance of 147% on the top line there, computer software books. This seems to kind of appear in every report. Trustee Baker will highlight that for us in just a moment. It is only $2,300, so it's a minor figure, but I would ask that those are the areas that you want to pay attention to, those variances, both positive and negative, because that highlights something's going on that maybe we didn't know about. but also there are timing issues. So in many cases, there's expenditures that occur in the beginning of a year and don't occur for the remainder of the year, or occur at a very small value for the remainder of the year. So we're in good shape there. Under total operating expenses, under other operating expenses, we're looking at a variance. The variances are generally pretty good. We're at 49% for maintenance and repairs. So we have some alarm and some contract expenses that appear to be front-end loaded. So that's giving rise to that negative variance at the first quarter. Total expenditures, let's see, total other supplies were at 37%. We're a bit over 33. We have another one here at 68% dues and memberships, and a variance of about $7,300 as compared to last year. So that's worth a closer look. On to, I'll just take you down to line 48, total expenditures. We're at 29% of total expenditures, and compared to this time last year, we're underspending by about $75,000. So it all portends for a positive, certainly through this point, a positive budget in Fund 11. And we anticipate some continuing good news with the understanding that the collective bargaining agreements, salaries and wages are 85% of our budget. So that will certainly have an impact here. Hopefully a neutral impact, but certainly that question remains to be answered. So with that, I would conclude my report and certainly entertain any questions.
Any questions, you guys? Trustee Baker, anything to highlight?
Just a quick comment. I'm not going to nitpick since the font is so tiny on my phone. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. But I did want to just say, I think I mentioned the membership and dues being high last month. So unless that has continued to trend in that direction, my assumption is that's just front-loaded stuff that was one-time expenses.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable assumption, but I think it's worth a look. And we'll take a look and circle back with a bit more information about what's trending there. Again, I think you're correct. Oftentimes memberships are front-end loaded, so they happen right at the beginning of the year and you don't see much for the remainder of the year, but it's worth a closer look. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Trustee Baker. Thank you, Mr. Reeves. All right, we're going to move on to President and board reports. We'll start with our President and cabinet reports.
Good evening, everyone. We're at a very special time of the year because we're getting ready for the spring semester and also almost closing out the fall semester. So to highlight some key moments for spring 2025, we start on January 22nd. Priority registration began on November 5th and open registration starts on December 5th. We are trying to encourage students to register as early as possible because many of our fall sections were full before the semester began. So we want students to have their best choice of classes. We continue, as always, to offer short-term and late start offerings for students who may not be registering as soon as now. We do have several really interesting and exciting end of semester events for the semester. We have 2 pinning ceremonies. Our vocational nursing pinning is going to be on December 9th at 3 p.m. And our associate degree in nursing pinning is on December 10th at 4 p.m. And that's always very special to hear the stories of students who are completing that program. In the theater and music departments, we have a number of performances coming up. Seussical, the musical, is on now, Friday at 7, Saturday and Sunday at 2 o'clock, going through November 24th. And on December 8th, we have a Cookies and a Christmas Carol holiday concert at 2 o'clock. And then December 17th rounds out the final performance for our programs with a jazz ensemble concert at 7 p.m. And if anybody has interest in attending those events, you can find more details on our Performing Arts Center website. And finally, I wanted to make sure that the board knows about this really exciting series of winery events on Friday evenings. These are organized and managed, prepared by Enoch Sholey, who is our new winery hospitality and culinary operations manager. He's been stunning and amazing in helping to gain more community connection for our VWT program and help us plan and think forward for how to advance that program. And as part of that effort, he's organized this series of Friday evening events with local winemakers who come and talk to anybody who is interested in coming, which can include students, community members, other members of the public who would like to learn more about the program and have an opportunity to learn from winemakers. We have 3 upcoming events, one tomorrow night, and then the next one on December 6th, the final one on the 13th. These events are free and tickets can be reserved via the Eventbrite link on my report. They do ask you bring your own tasting glasses. I will say I was at an event 3 weeks ago for this type of event, and they do an amazing job of both promoting our program and helping people learn about wines in the Napa Valley. It's really a wonderful experience. So if you don't have time this semester, I believe he's planning to continue that, but it's something at least worth experiencing one time or more. So that rounds out some of the events for this fall semester. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and community. Wanted to just remind you all that at the beginning of the semester, I start off one of my reports talking about the work of Student Affairs Council and our goals that we had set. And one of those goals specifically was to respond to enrollment and enrollment processes in the onboarding of students. So the Student Affairs Council, with the support of the Enrollment Task Force, we created a task force specifically of administrators, faculty, staff to address issues of enrollment. And there's a bigger theme here, though, to really look at the student life cycle. So this is an opportunity for us to really look at what it's like to be a student going through our processes of onboarding. Our goal has really been to create seamless enrollment processes in Napa Valley College, and this is the urgent goal of the task force and the Student Affairs Council. So through this, what we've done is this has been led by Deans Jessica Erickson, Dr. Ryan Smith. We've been able to meet multiple times to really unpack and look at the 5 steps of enrollment. We've had breakout sessions specifically addressing each level or each step in the enrollment process. And a lot of good conversation, discussion, feedback from our staff, faculty, administrators has been really extremely helpful to understand kind of that process. But we've taken it one step further, and we've also included students in that experience by doing student focus groups to specifically engage students around the experience that they've had going through the enrollment pieces. So this has been extremely helpful as we have worked towards creating really more of a seamless process. And the goal really of this task force is by the end of the semester is to be able to provide recommendations moving forward. So more to come on that. We'll do a deeper dive actually at the retreat and speak to you more specifically about this. Some professional development activities that I've had the opportunity and Student Affairs staff has had the opportunity to participate in. The first one was the Colegas Conference that happened in Sacramento at the beginning of November. Large representation from Napa Valley College staff, including Student Affairs. Colegas is a group. Its mission is really to develop, elevate, and increase leadership from our Comunidad Latina throughout higher education using liberatory practices. This year's theme conference was Collective Resistance, Justicia y Liberación. So great opportunity to connect with colleagues, engage, robust conversations, discussions, workshops around specifically doing deeper work in supporting our most marginalized students on campus. So it was great to participate there and see colleagues I hadn't seen for a while coming up and down state. In addition to that, I also had the opportunity to participate in the California Student Services Officer CSSO Fall Symposium, which is held in San Francisco. This was at the end of October. This was a specific training, or we had specific training specifically on Title IX. So that was a good opportunity to do some deeper work around that as well. Quick update on River Trail. As you know, we've now under Asset Living as a management company for River Trail. Currently, we have 146 residents at River Trail, but we are continuously working towards onboarding new students, about 12
new students in the pipeline or in the process for spring 25. So very excited about that. The operations team continues to meet on a weekly basis. Again, as a reminder, the operations team is really a group of different areas on campus, student affairs, to support our students in the River Trail experience. So we talk about the issues that have come up in River Trail, problem solve that, and we think about next steps. It's been really productive. As you heard Chief Wade say, it's really been a team effort to support all of our students and residents. That concludes my report.
I would continue by indicating that we're in audit season. We have 3 separate audits going on, much to our chagrin. The first is the financial audit I just mentioned earlier. The second is the audit of the 50%. You recall that 10 institutions were selected across the state for a audit of the 50% law. We are looking forward to an exit interview. I think Dr. Powell may have been invited to that exit interview next week on that 50% law. The last audit is the student housing audit. I'm really surprised that the beds aren't even warm yet and they want to audit housing programs. They're actually looking at UC, CSU, and community college housing programs to get an understanding what needs are being met and not being met. So I don't have any concerns about that, but it doesn't come at a great time, certainly in our workload. With respect to institutional technology, I think some of you, maybe all of you, received an email indicating our next steps in completing our TCO and our campus refresh program, in addition to our strategic plan. So we're making good progress there. Our Wine Education Center is moving along nicely. There's a report attached to my monthly report. We are generally on schedule. We've actually had to extend the schedule a bit because of a supply chain issue with electrical components. It's been moved to July of 25, so just about 6 weeks later. It's generally on budget as well. We've had a few change orders been finally submitted or submitted thus far. However, they're being absorbed by our contingency in that budget, so I don't anticipate any particular challenges there. Many of you are aware that, and Trustee Dodd may report on this later, the Wine Education Center Phase 2 has been authorized. So we're moving forward with an RFP for Phase 2 of that process. And finally, I just wanted to touch on the campus solar solution. We did receive a draft of our total cost of ownership for our facilities. And when we reviewed the utility costs, we found that the fuel cell that the college installed, I think in the last 3 years, has reduced the demand for electrical supply on campus to the point where after reviewing the data out of that TCO, we went back to the solar provider and asked them to review that data and resubmit a report. The solar arrays have been reduced dramatically because of the energy being provided by the fuel cell. Now, when speaking with Dr. Powell about this, he suggested another question we may want to answer is, why would we want to stay on natural gas, the fuel cell fuel, providing this electricity when we're seeing natural gas costs increase dramatically? So we will go back and ask, what if we reduce the demand on the fuel cell, thus reducing our natural gas costs, and continue to look at solar as a solution, a more robust solar solution. So we have some additional questions that we want to get answered, but we did provide you the next option for that reduced solar array on campus. So that is a work in progress. And with that, I would conclude my report.
Good evening. In human resources, we continue to engage in active negotiations with our classified professionals and our faculty association, and we look forward to the continued work and resolutions. Also, we have attended the Association of Chief Human Resources Officers and EO conference. I want to thank Dean Doug Marriott and Enoch Sully, who helped ACRO by serving Napa Valley College wine to our HR folks across the state. One of our attendees made this comment, and I quote, "This is the best student learning outcome I have ever experienced." Our wine was well received, and I want to thank them kindly for driving all the way out that way to Roanoke Park to showcase the fruits of our labor. I also would like to thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Guerrero, who spoke to our group on the topic of harvesting hope, the positive impact of migrant farm workers in Napa Valley. It was extremely important as we invited folks across the state into our valley for them to understand the impacts of community college education on the very individuals that built this area. Also, at the end of the month, I had the privilege to spend more time with Trustee Kishna, along with Matt Kronzer, Amanda Badgett, and Christy Iwamoto at the Equity Minded Leadership Searches Institute. This is a wonderful opportunity that was developed by Dr. Ben Simon at USC, and we spent 2 full days engaging in wonderful dialogue on how we can reduce barriers in our search processes. And I did enjoy the time and conversation. We continue to monitor our efforts around recruitments, and we currently have for field position 1, we have 9 open positions and 4 upcoming for unrestricted funds. For restricted, we have 3 positions coming up, and then we have one filled and 1 open for a combination. We continue to work on the development of our Title IX, a civil rights program. Here I've showcased the members of our Title IX team. We meet weekly to discuss both incidents that happen on our campus and in and around our campus for which we are legally responsible for. We will be hosting an open house, so once we send out an invitation, I do hope that all of you can come out and meet Kelly Tomlinson. We have our walking program. I'm not going to talk about competition because last time I did that, you guys really took it really serious and I can't give you guys prizes. However, it kicked off and it will end November the 19th. We have 41 of our employees participating in non-official teams form. I know that the wellness program is one of the small things, but it is one of the things we offer the hope to build community, improve morale, and also to get us up and out of our workspaces and moving because we want to be a healthy campus. As promised, when I presented our EEL program, I will continue to provide demographics for our employee groups. We do not anticipate to see huge changes in these demographics and these numbers from month to month, as we are not recruiting at a fast rate or a heavy rate. But overall, we have, going to the very last slide, we have 43 administrative confidential employees, and we're seeing a nice spread across our administrative confidential full-time faculty and classified. However, we are monitoring this and we're also monitoring all of our activity and our goals around our recruitment efforts. And I'll continue to provide this data as well as provide an update on where we're at with our recruitment efforts in January. And that completes my board report.
Can you pull up the accreditation document? Thank you. Just a few updates on accreditation. I'm doing my best Robin Warnall impersonation tonight. It's been a very busy month for accreditation. We've completed a draft total cost of ownership assessment of our facilities and equipment. This was one of the two primary outstanding deliverables for our accreditation visit in spring. Progress is being made on the TCO, as Jim mentioned, for information technology, with the completion scheduled to be in time for inclusion in our next accreditation narrative. So we're on time for that project as well. We also have completed the facilities department project list, which includes the funding status of more than 50 facilities and equipment-related requests. These requests integrate requests from the 24-25 planning and resource allocation process, which demonstrates the linearity between our planning and resource allocation process, which of course is another key area for accreditation. So a lot of progress this month, and we are definitely on track for where we need to be with respect to meeting our accreditation requirements. The 23-24 annual report on your desks, you have a copy of the our 23-24 annual report. It highlights some key achievements from last year. It's also on board docs as well. Won't go through these in detail, but there are some really interesting things from this past year and some really great pictures as well of what has been a very, very successful year for us in the last year. Just two more quick updates. Former Napa Valley College faculty member Monica Hunter was in the news last week as she was reappointed to the Central Coast Regional Water Quality Board by Governor Gavin Newsom. It's always nice to have a former NVC person appointed to a position by the governor. Monica served at NVC in the early 2000s as an instructor in the social sciences department. I want to congratulate her on her reappointment. Last update for me is last week we hosted the reopening of our newly redesigned Veterans Center. The renovated space provides a place for our veteran students to study, to eat, and sit in community. We actually had Congressman Thompson come out to, in advance of the formal opening as a former veteran to tour the facility and take pictures with us. He's very interested in that. Veteran students can also schedule appointments for counseling and receive guidance on a number of veteran-specific resources, like how to access their veteran benefits. And the TV and gaming lounge in particular is a big draw in the Veterans Resource Center. They have 3 to 4 gaming systems, which includes my personal favorite, the Nintendo 64. Great. And with that, that concludes President Area Reports. Thank you.
Thank you, President and Cabinet. Next, we're going to move to 14.2, Standing Committee and Other Appointment Reports. Das, you guys have nothing?
Yep, we're meeting next month.
Trustee Rios, BWT.
Yeah, we met last week, and I will refer you back to Dr. Moore's report on the wine tasting on Fridays and Jim's report on the Wine Education Center. I'll add one thing that I think is important to recognize. Pat Burke, who was on the board, who has resigned after 13 years. 13 years. So his service was greatly appreciated, and I just thought it'd be great for everybody to recognize that. If you know Pat, thank him for his service, and that is it.
Thank you, Trustee Rios. Audit and Finance, no.
Meet next month.
Right. And McPherson, no. Dr. Unshank, no. Trustee Dodd, anything on the foundation report?
Yeah, I think as Jim had mentioned, the board authorized phase 2 of the WEC, which is really exciting development, fulfilling the remaining fundraising goals for the Evelyn Allen gift that the college received a few years ago. So that is a very big deal. And it's nice to be able to fulfill that too, just getting some economy of scale there, being able to piggyback immediately off of the phase 1 that we're doing instead of having any sort of gap there. So that's really a nice piece. We also had our board retreat, which lasted, I think it was about a 6-hour session. So, but a lot to discuss. I think one piece that I'd love, just because of everybody in the room and been meaning to talk with a few folks there, on the college, the president's cabinet team, is, hearing a lot from, board members on the foundation about the need to have some specific defined fundraising goals or objectives that they could look to as they, talk with new types of donors and diverse types of donors who are maybe wanted to be thinking about gifting outside of viticulture and winery technology programs. So I'd love to figure out, I know this is certainly not a new, I think, request from the foundation, but just effectively how to, can we do something like a top 10 of needs assessment with respect to what the certain programs might need. I know there's a lot of challenges there in terms of equity between different programs and different divisions at the college, but just trying to think about a thoughtful way to address really, I think, the foundation's need and giving them the tools that they need to be successful. And ultimately, I think that the college and our students will reap the benefits of that. So more to come. And Dr. Moore, I'm assuming I'd probably like to follow up with you and Dr. Powell, of course, on this.
Thanks, Trustee Dodd. And trustee and board chair reports. Start with our student trustee.
So I'm going to report again on the events that we've had on campus since the last board meeting. So on October 24th, the Student Health Center hosted a blood drive. And on the same day, it was, the campus departments hosted Boo Bash, NVC's annual Halloween event at River Trail Village, which was open to the public. There were campus clubs and campus resources who gave away candy, prizes, and more. And the food truck was very popular amongst the residents at River Trail Village. So that was nice to see them come out for the food, even though, they kind of skipped out on the candy and left it for the kids. The accounting department took students on a field trip to UC Berkeley on November 1st for the Berkeley Showcase. There was a series of workshop sessions that students could attend, and it was a very fun-filled day for students who attended the field trip. Next, like Dr. Powell mentioned, the Veterans Center reopening celebration was held on November 7th. It was an opportunity for staff and students to see the renovated space at the Veterans Resource Center. And again, the space is available for student veterans to meet each other, study, play video games, or learn more about the resources offered to them. Next, last Thursday, the campus hosted the post-election community gathering event in which students had the opportunity to share their feelings and thoughts after the election through poetry or connecting with each other in groups. Some campus resources like Mentis tabled at the event, and other campus resources such as Vidas. They were shared through flyers in person and also on social media. The event was very well liked by students. I saw on social media, it was like, one of the most liked posts on the Napa Valley College Instagram. And yeah, so it was just an opportunity for students to learn about the resources and offer to them and also express their thoughts. The campus is planning an end of the semester celebration for December 4th at River Trail Village. It's open to all students to attend to celebrate the end of the semester and take a break from studying for finals. There will be s'mores and other snacks for students to enjoy. The office of, like Aveline mentioned, the Office of Student Life organized an angel tree in the library for students in the Child Development Center and children of EOPS students to receive gifts for the holiday season. Last but not least, the Student Advisory Council presented to the Student Affairs Council last Thursday. We presented our presentation on the 5 steps to enroll and about the accessibility of resources on the NVC website. The presentation was very well received by the Student Affairs Council, and they expressed support for the Student Affairs Council, and now we're waiting for our next steps. Thank you.
Nice report. Trustee Kishner.
I had the honor of attending a equity-minded leadership conference in Los Angeles. I was honored to be chosen for that, and I really enjoyed the experience. I felt like I was in a group of people that all had their minds in the right places, where we all really wanted to prioritize equity. I really appreciated Charo's knowledge and the time that I got to hang out with Dr. Kronzer on the plane. I wish that I had more time to hang out with the group that we were there with. And I'd like to wish everybody a warm and love-filled Thanksgiving. And I'd like to thank everybody here. You know, opportunity to thank the staff, thank the classified staff, the faculty, the president and the council and everybody here, and especially Catherine and the president secretary Grace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Kishner. Trustee DeLuna. A report. I'm gonna go to our remote trustees. Trustee Baker.
Oh, yes. Yes, I am remote currently in Burlingame attending the CCLC annual convention. I've been able to go to several sessions that I have found very, very interesting. One in particular, a couple in particular, one on how we can kind of as in our status as an HSI, what we can do to excel in that. And then also a very interesting session on mental health, both of students as well as our faculty and staff. And then I also went to a presentation on housing. A couple of the panelists were familiar. We had Anne and Mike from the Bowles group that were there. So that was very interesting. Looking forward to more stuff tomorrow and Saturday morning. Next month, although I will be in attendance at the meeting, I will likely have to leave early. I will not be leaving campus. I'll just be going down to the Performing Arts Center because I this year am actually performing in the Nutcracker, and we have our technical rehearsal that evening. So I will show up to the meeting in full theater dress, ready to go, and then we'll dash out to go actually dance at the other end of the campus. So, and tickets are on sale now, so please come. That's all I have.
Nice, thank you. Trustee Dodd.
I think we need a breakout for a 2.5-hour recess from our meeting. If anybody else is open to that idea. Outside of that, I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Trustee Rios. Trustee Olson.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to share that I went to the Veterans Center reopening and it was a packed house. Really great to be around that energy and pride of everyone who helped with the renovation and who helped make it happen.
Thank you. One thing that I wanted to just report on is the conferences, and I wanted to thank Dr. Powell and staff for really opening up. I mean, we have had trustees at Palm Springs, San Diego, Los Angeles, Burlingame, San Diego, Seattle. I mean, and Raphael, you probably could chime in on this, but we used to go to the Sacramento conference, and that was it. So we've found the funds to try and expand and really broaden where we're getting education from some of these conferences. So I wanted to thank you for that. And that's it. I'm gonna announce our future meeting for December 19th, 2024. And with that, I'll adjourn us. Thank you, guys.